Hello! In this video, I'll touch up on a subject that I've been meaning to touch upon, what with the game dev related videos and stuff on the channel. And in this topic, I'm going to talk about the fact that most of the suggestions that people leave for your games are kind of worthless. And I'll get into why. Now, with a strong statement like that, I do have to make the disclaimer that I'm not saying that all the suggestions that people make are worthless. However, it's that most suggestions are worthless. And the reason for that is multifaceted, but also kind of simple. Number one, most people, when they suggest things, they are suggesting features or things that they saw in other games and like them. Now, if you, as the creator of the game, think that the feature that somebody has suggested is a good fit for your project, then by all means go ahead and implement it. There's literally nothing wrong with that. However, depending on what you are envisioning with the game, you might consider it to be something that doesn't fit. And that's where the main thing lies, and is that when people suggest things, they want to see more of the games they like in your game, as opposed to actually thinking about what thematically fits in the game, what fits in the game from a gameplay perspective based on what's in the game already. And I'll provide an example based on something that people that have played the prologue project as well as the demo version, and some people that have played the playtest that was available like half a year ago, is that people sometimes suggest adding the ability to hide bodies inside of a closet. However, that thematically does not fit with the game. It is not something that I envisioned having in the game, and it also discounts stealth to some degree, because it means that you can be sloppy with your stealth and get rid of the bodies and not have them be noticed by anybody. When designing the stealth gameplay in the game, I always go for the mindset of, if you commit to knocking or killing someone, then you have to deal with the consequences of there being a body on the game level. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, have you ever tried putting something that is angled awkwardly and is heavy inside of a closet? Unless you do some really like high level gymnastics, I don't think you could fit a body into a closet without it like falling out. Sure, you can put a body, I'm assuming, I mean, I haven't done this, but I'm assuming you can put a body inside of a closet, right? You can close the doors, but something tells me that that body is gonna just impact the doors, right, and fall out, because the doors are not gonna hold the weight of the body. So that's a bit of a weird thing to suggest adding to the game, in my opinion. Hiding bodies in dumpsters, no problem with that. I mean, you're putting something vertically, not horizontally, so it's pretty much impossible for things to fall out of a dumpster when gravity is doing the work for you. So with that said, about 90% of all suggestions I have seen for intravenous were things that either didn't pan out in terms of balancing the game, or things that didn't make sense. I have had people suggest me things like a bucket of water and rags as gadgets, or cat litter as a gadget to clean up blood, or bleach to clean up blood, or something else in a similar vein, which didn't make any sense. That isn't to say there are no good suggestions coming from the community. There's a reason why I said 90% of suggestions are kind of worthless, but the remaining 10%, at least that's what I observed in my case, are some really good observations and some really good suggestions. For example, just recently somebody suggested something in regards to vent shafts, I think, and I immediately went on to implement what they suggested because it seemed like a good idea, and I was like, how the hell did I not think of that? So the point is not to listen to feedback, it's rather to not go ahead and like implement every single thing that people suggest. You could ask, but why is it that so many suggestions are bad? And the reason for that is actually fairly simple. When people suggest things, they since they're not the creator of the game, since they don't know how things work internally, since they don't know what your vision is as a creator, their view of the game is like this, right? Tunnel vision. Meanwhile, you as the game's creator, you have a really wide field of view. However, even though that's the case, there are still blind spots that you can have as a game's creator because of how familiar you are with the game. It's important to listen to what people think of your game and of the feedback that they give you, but it's not mandatory to implement anything they ask for. There have been some really good observations in regards to things that I missed as the game's creator for Intravenous, but for every good suggestion, there are about 9 that are not good at all. So that's how I vet various feedback and community suggestions. I compare it against my vision of the game. I compare it against all the existing gameplay mechanics in the game, and if I, for some reason, deem that it is not a good fit or that it could potentially break the flow of the game or it could break the balance of the game, I do not implement that. It's really as simple as that. Hopefully this has been useful. Hopefully this has been some kind of interesting insight into how games are designed. I do not know whether this is how other game developers operate when it comes to designing games. Maybe they're more flexible, maybe they're even more rigid. I do not know, since have not asked that many people about their process. But this is how I operate, and this is how I evaluate whether something is worth changing, whether something is worth implementing as per feedback from players. So that's it for this video. See you next time.